poetry has always been known as a medium to deal with matters of the heart, and this is no different as we question new boundaries and liberties that we have to negotiate in the world around us today. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our poets today, and our first poet reading is Peter Kay. Peter is 70 years old and is married. He has 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren. He worked as a local government official for 40 years, and for the past 11 years has been able to pursue his writing ambitions. His first book, A Pennine Way Odyssey, was published in 2012. His second, Show Me the Way to Santiago, was published in 2020. A third book is scheduled to be published later this year. He writes travel memoirs, fiction, short stories, monologues, a children's books, and poetry. He enjoys sharing poetry on the open mic scene. Please give a warm welcome to Peter Kay.
Thank you, Sharenà. Yes, so the theme is freedom and anxiety, and there is a little trigger warning for one of the poems. It does deal with the subject of domestic abuse. But seeing as you're chairing it, I'll start with one that's about mountains and the freedom that walking in the mountains gives you. But there is an undertow of anxiety in this one because it's about a journey that was undertaken back in the 1990s when the troubles in Ireland were still very much to the fore. And it's called Whisky Cake. And that will become evident when I read the poem. I dreamt of Erin's lofty heights, how we'd mark each ascent, savour sipping a pint of black. You gave me a parcel to ponder, not to be opened till the tops. Munros rise east to west, starting with Wicklow's Lugnaquilla, high fives and unwrapped whisky cake. Inland to Munster's Galtymore, searing heat fuel up with water and another slab before heading for McGillycuddy's Reeks. 2 days of clambering over 10 summits, including heady heights of Carran Hill, tallest of them all, whisky cake slices becoming slivers. Last pieces saved for the dingle, as far west as you can get. Down below with black and tans, creamy head can seize the troubles, brewing below the surface bubbles. Years of history, of a proud nation, a place where our big boots have trod, so many fleeing to find the Gaelic life elsewhere. Here and now, Mount Brandon gets our final crumbs. Thank you. And this one's called Beyond. See, dark clouds approaching, familiar feeling clutches her insides. Magpies screech, distant rumblings. A slimy slick runs slowly down her back. The door opens and he is back, exuding charm with an undertow of hate. She provides an open smile, feet suddenly leaden, spits and spots of rain, illuminated by a streetlight behind his heavy frame. A foghorn sounds a warning. He beckons. She stands frozen. The wind is getting up. A brittle branch snaps with a crack. He grows impatient. She summons strength to move. He seems pleased, steps forward, slams the door to shut out the nearing storm, holds out his arms. Panic. She forces herself towards him, beer breath familiar. Firm hands slap. Eyes closed, a thunderclap, zigzag flashes, pure white, a blue light. Eyes open, sunshine streams in, night memories fade. A blackbird brings a different serenade. Flowers bloom outside, the air is scent, free. Thank you. So, there are lots of kinds of freedom, and my mother suffered from depression and anxiety for the last 40 years of her life. So in this poem, freedom is leaving this life and going on to the next. It's called, we just had the European Championships, so there's a football reference in here, and it's called There's Only One. The day she died, my football team was in Europe. How I longed to revisit our time together, that wonderful carefree adventure, sharing the passion of every moment, those unambiguous traumas year on year, unconditional love when I was little, wiping away my tears, watching and learning through teenage years, manhood dreams fulfill for you, lineage of those great successes, lapping up pure memories of joy. Me, mind wandering to watching my boys again, you holding hand with your boy for the last time. Thank you. Just a very short one, which I actually wrote this morning, and as Sharenà said, my last book was Show Me the Way to Santiago, and I've walked from Sevilla to Santiago, but there's another bit of the walk that I want to do, and circumstances have prevented me from doing that, and that's to walk from Santiago to Finisterre, only a mere 75 kilometers, but I've not been able to go back to do it. So this is called To Finisterre. Let us be sitting on a rock in soft spring Spanish sunshine, free to move off when we please, reach out for far-flung Finisterre. Together we'll search for postscript paths that lead us forward to the sea. Hear the Atlantic roar around rocks once thought to be finality-edged. Salt taste the air, share a smile, breathe in freshly found freedom. Let anxiety take to solid skies, hear the raucous cries of gulls. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. Absolutely stunning poetry as usual. And I just love that last line about anxiety take to solid skies. It's just, it's beautiful lines. Yeah, so you were saying that you're wanting to do in your next book, The Walk, that you was mentioning then.
Well, yes, in the book, I make reference to that's one of the things to do, and my friend and I have been, well, we've had plans that have been scrapped, of course, several last year, this year. So at some point, I will go back and walk from Santiago to Finisterre to the sea. It was originally thought by people in the Middle East, in the world as it was then known, to be the last place on Earth, because in those days people thought the Earth was flat, and if you went any further, you'd fall off the end. So Finisterre was like the end of the world. I mean, all that went beyond it was the sea, and then there was a great big waterfall that dropped you into infinity, I guess.
Oh, sounds incredible. I look forward to your next book. And yeah, it sounds very interesting. And thanks so much for sharing your beautiful poems with us.
Thank you.